放国人上手，来吧，来，放国人上手，国人在外面放毒，国人在外面放毒，国人在外面放毒，打死国人，我们来保我们的生命。
他还能不能干路好？
老子是大人。换着考，换着考，看不喽？来了，哎，
配合，你是嘛配合哈？
你来去派出所，关键我们去哈。是呗？
配合，你知不？
不是没戴口罩噻。
那天有道理噻。月下没戴
我没
口罩。
说有道理，我说我回去，对。我说我回家。
那先配合，是。
我说我回家。
我的眼睛是整齐。这个能整齐。是完了。来，坐下啊。
我说啊，你莫考噻，你要去。
那这个配合，
你
配合噻。
你得起来嘛，我
你起来，你给我配合，那你给我配合起来。
手拿过来。
那你就配合起来。
拿过来不？我说
起来呀。
开始上你开了。
配合起来。
你莫给我靠近。
靠下就靠，你鬼脚下。
我这样我没办法。
你没戴口罩的没办法哈。这咋的人呢？
我说你懂不懂？我说我出来过年呐，晒下步噻。
你去带不得啊？
哎呦！我说是黑。啊，你开我的房，你开。我真的是。
过去。这约他走约过来的。
有啥都是立场人哈，你莫那个。我们好生说。
那就是配合过来。
你说没戴口罩。我去那个，那就看到的。
怎么说？
你好。
嗯。
你这一步的话，我们最后一步了，去住院的请隔离安装，你有什么问题啊？
有问题呀、那我想问一下，如果说我们装了之后，两个安全隐患啊，一个是你装之前装了，如果说我在家里发生什么意外事件，比如说万一发生火灾，我怎么逃离？你把我唯一的生命安全通道给堵牢了。你能保证在如果说半夜1、2点钟发生火，你能保证在1分钟之内把我家门打开吗？如果可以保证，那 OK。
每个人每次都是这样讲的。
嗯。
现在我讲一下。
你是代表哪里？我想问一下。
街道，石桥街道。
您叫什么名字？因为我要知道。
没有义务。
不是石桥街道。
这不是没有义务。领导，你听我说。
我不是来执法。
那哪位是执法的？哪位是执法的？
没有执法，我们都是。
那这位是？
也是公安派出所。
派出所是吧？工号警号多少？
你这个
我不是没有必要，领导，你这个不是没有必要，因为我是属于你说一下，再说一遍，我没看不到。
这是政府行为。
政府行为是吧？好，第一，我打了杭州市防控电话，他说没有这个事情的。第二，我打了12345，他说也没有这个事情的。如果说你要安装，他会下报来。好，那领导，那你的街道是吧？街道，那领导，街道负责人有很多领导，我不知道你叫什么名字，而且你戴着口罩，我也不认识你。锦荣的联系领导是不是？
对，这个的联系领导。
那名字是什么？我知道，贵姓。
我不是来执法。我履行公务是完成任务。我告诉你。
你只是为了完成任务，对吗？
我就这样想跟人讲啊。现在国家一级响应，告诉你啊。
我们是不是在配合？
你不听我讲完。
听他讲完。
可以。
讲完。
一级响应。是非常时期。
对。
政府包括习大大也讲的是暂时。暂时。现在我们履行的是政府的临时管制。临时管制进行硬隔离。完毕，请你们配合。
我们是在配合呀。
对，配合就行了。
那你这个具体的讲一下，你这个硬隔离是要做什么措施？
现在硬隔离，
你先讲一下。
我们给你锁起来。
怎么锁？
链条锁。
链条锁哪儿？
你锁门啊，不给你出来。
那我从里面是否就打不开？在逃生的情况下。
这个我也温馨提示一下，在家里要做好个人的安全防护。 安全用火，安全用电，如果有突发情况，自己处理不了，及时给联系人告知伤友，因为3把钥匙都会就近放置的。
那我想问一下啊，领导，你们有人负责啊？多长时间能到岗？比如说你从门岗到这儿，几分钟能到？
你这个表就我们出资，除了你们自己承担责任以外，你们责任以外的由我们政府承担。
不是吧？你告诉我多长时间反应嘛？比如说我家的正房着火了，煤气漏了，煤气爆炸了，我打120，120到楼下了，人下不出去。
这个我们都会，
你都会，你能？
那个我现在答不出来，怎么答出来呢？以最快速度，以最快速度。
尽快是什么时候？1天、2天、3天？
你这个没法说，好吧？
不是，尽快有一个时效嘛。
我们履行公务，请你们配合。
我们
房东是所有的，如果不配合的，要追究刑事责任的。好，
那我们先说一下我们的原因啊。你说完了，总归我们要交个言嘛。2点，第一点，杭州市规定就是说不配合居家隔离，对吧？
我现在问个你配合不配合？
我是在配合，我没有出来。
第二，好了，等一下。好了。
行，反正有什么需要微信联系哈。你家里面垃圾袋不多？对，有垃圾袋是这样的，你垃圾不要装太满。
这保证理。至于这家克服一点，好吧？哎，对，因为呢，为了你自己，为了大家，为了你自己啊！哎，对，好吧？好的。OK， 好的。
表示非常时期。
自我保护意识要强，知道吗？对，哎，对，互相理解就行了，好。好的，好。
我跟你讲，你现在只是让你去医院检查一下。我不需要。必须的，这是政府的命令。政府的命令。不去的那只能强制了。那你上次给我又砍一刀。
下一个就是我们6号楼了，就是我家了。
老人是顶下带来是阿拉掏出来，是地里的东西。
怎么搞用啊？我这是个道理，这个道理都没有。
给他拉吧，他拉一整个的，那中国民那电视，哎，你怎么看这个人？
那是地不跟咱们一起。
哎，没一起，给他拉一起哦。
他不是这种
我他对吧？从这拿出来了，再下给那个好下来。
啊，要起了。
那这里都怪嘛？啊，我看那个站着跑的是呗。
我又是不是有病的，是不是？
去，你去。去。不要一个去了，这里个去。
到进为东丢呗。
打，是打，这个哪里打少了？考试好了，打这个哪点顶好了？他打水那个。哎呀，吃，好，吃。你给我没办法了嘎？那我烧着现在帮他退票。
中庸。
我烧着现在帮他退票。
是湖北人湖北车啊，全部扣押。现在扣了一票的湖北人湖北车，只要是湖北人湖北车全部扣押。湖北人不要出来啊，这不是开玩笑的，检查身份证。
现在绍兴东站所有外地人都不让出，要原路返回。我们公司3个都要回到吉林去，没法让他们出来，说情也没用。
湖北、浙江、湖南、河南、安徽、广东、江西及人员车辆，请靠左行驶，前方掉头返回。湖北、浙江、湖南、河南、安徽、广。
加大传播真相的力度，我们要拯救在水深火热的湖北的武汉的同胞们，我们要再把国内的所有有关疫情的真实声音发到国际上来，做好准备，没有共产党的新中国的以后什么样？
给你看看，我这测体温呢。你这装备挺酷啊！
哎，36.5，
自己买的？
对。
不能他你们自个这个合适带牌噻？不可能，隔2个合适带，一个红的，红的盖个放在吧，我们泡得到的看。嗯。有了，这提不起吧？这提不起，他提不起。他摇的胖呢，身体摇的胖。嘎那个不单子。那个绳子不，把个背单上面拿开，不掀起了，就是背在上面拿来裹，就把这拿来裹，走。可以。还多些。那怎么办呢？搞个坛子。拿把坛子。好了，我来下去。这个你下不了。啊。
I'm going to get straight into the hotel. I'm in the Beijing Grand Hyatt. There is pretty much nobody here. So this ice skating rink just opened before the Lunar New Year holiday, and now it's closed again. Normally there are kids shoulder to shoulder on this, but it is empty now. I'm outside one of the gates of the Forbidden City. It's still closed. A lot of the major public landmarks in China are still closed. All of these shared bikes here, but nobody's riding them. Going through another temperature check, but this time it's on the wrist. Shout out to all the people that decorated this mall, but with nobody really to see it. I'm seriously the only person in here right now. So Beijing is still sort of a ghost town, even though the Lunar New Year holiday is officially over. The government did extend it by a few days. The number of trips made in China over this holiday plunged 73% compared to last year because of the travel bans, more people being afraid to go out because of the virus. Most shops are closed as well. People are trying to protect their workers and people are worried about getting the virus, so they're staying at home.
例えばね、マスクが足りないんだったらば、もっと増産して、それをこう提供してあげるとか。
この報道が少しちょっと不正確なものにやっぱりなりがちになる。ウイルスの感染みたいなものが最新で悪いものを見てくるとか、そういう感染の方がよっぽど問題。ウイルス自体は。
とりあえずマスクをいっぱい送ったらいいと思います。一番危ないところを抑えて、そこからどんどん減らしていくべきだと、国が協力してワクチン作って人を助けてほしいですね。
武汉加油！
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 在日本的街道上，整个步行街从头到尾全部都是挺住武汉，这是日本人做的事儿，真的，真不敢相信，真的就包括这次救援，日本是最先。
I've been FBI director for over 2 years now, and having had to confront what I would argue is a wider than ever array of challenging threats, this one to me really stands out as the greatest long-term threat to our nation's information and intellectual property and to our economic vitality. And this is a threat, as I think you heard from Bill, not just to our economic security, but by extension to our national security. The first thing I think we need to understand about the threat from China is just how diverse and multi-layered it is. And I say that in terms of its techniques, its actors, and in its targets. China is using a wide range of methods and techniques, and I'm talking about everything from cyber intrusions to corrupting trusted insiders. They've even engaged in outright physical theft. The second thing I think we really need to understand about this threat is the scope of China's ambitions, which are no secret, and you heard a little bit about that from Bill already. To be clear, this is not about the Chinese people as a whole, and it sure as heck is not about Chinese Americans as a group. But it is about the Chinese government and the Chinese Communist Party. They've shown that they're willing to steal their way up the economic ladder at our expense. The third thing we need to remember about this threat is that China has a fundamentally different system than ours, and they're doing all they can to exploit the openness of ours. As I described, China is taking a multifaceted response, so we've got to have a multifaceted response on our end. Confronting this threat effectively does not mean we shouldn't do business with the Chinese, does not mean we shouldn't host Chinese visitors, does not mean we shouldn't welcome Chinese students or coexist with China on the world stage. But what it does mean is that when China violates our criminal laws and well-established international norms, we are not going to tolerate it, much less enable it. The Department of Justice and the FBI are going to hold people accountable for that and protect our nation's innovation and
I can tell you with the news, it breaks overnight. I mean, even from their official thing. One of the stories I found most haunting yesterday, guys, and I want you to jump in here, is that it was announced that they've built the CCP has built 2 emergency hospitals, large hospitals to quarantine facilities, hospitals in Wuhan in 10 days, major facilities, at least as you can put them together. But it was announced last night, one of the buried leads is that the convention center is completely overrun. and they now have converted 11 other facilities like the convention centers into emergency quarantine facilities in hospitals. Sure. That's the important thing of how we calculate this. But just knowing and you've seen the photos, right? Finally, in Hong Kong, the nurses have said, "Hey, you got to close the border, or we got to go. We don't want to go on strike, but we got to go on strike until you close the border and quarantine this thing off." Social distancing. Only a government like the CCP that has clearly with the way they do, facial technology could ever shut down a city like Beijing. I mean, Beijing at 35 million people, it looks like a ghost town. And supposedly the virus is not up. Social distancing. Tell us right now, put us in the room, what are the authorities in China trying to do given the scale of this thing where they're taking over every high school gym? They've announced 11 new facilities, conference rooms, conference centers in a city like Wuhan. Think in New York of all the conference centers you'd have, convention centers. You're taking all those and you're just going to fill those up with beds.
They're trying to lower the RO number. They're trying to make it so one infected person can't transmit it to more than one other infected.
And that's the way it burns itself out. How to walk our audience through, and every day we're going to try to give a tutorial on this so you can actually read other newspapers and have the issue that comes to mind. It's so labor intensive. Yes. Look, we're in a world, this is one of the reasons that the Chinese, this Wuhan virus is going to affect the entire world, is because the just-in-time inventory system, the logistics chains all tied in, all that's built around data. Just-in-time is built around data and manufacturing and highly sophisticated algorithms and all that. This data is important. Obviously, you got to get the data. But when you look at the tip of where the rubber meets the road, this is so labor-intensive. You got to sit down with a patient and actually go through everything that everybody they've touched, everywhere they've been. Then you got to go load that into something and make sense of it, right?
现在呢？我们现在把里面的那些东西给拆掉了，再少拉2个，然后把我的那个以前不是殡葬式的中巴车，把椅子卸掉，一次拉7、8个。
哦，这样的话，那你11台炉子哦，那你这11台炉子那是少了一点，那1台炉子，那处理一个尸体需要多少时间啊？50分钟。哦，那能不能缩到半个小时？这个能不能缩短？
缩不了。
那有些地方说是45分钟，40多分钟就可以了吗？
那我不知道人家的设备是怎么回事。
哦，你们的50分钟。
烧到50分钟。
对，50分钟，那也是够忙的了。哎呀，那你这个真是够忙的了。
我不是说我这样崩溃了，就是这样。主要是那个遗体在医院的，我们接应不及时。
哦，就是车少。
后来那个什么，我们武汉市的狗屁书记拔不强，还说什么让我们在1个半小时把遗体拉完，拉得了吗？让他书记去那拉一下试一下。
哎呀，那是因为
狗是官僚主义。
Since taking office, President Trump has been clear that his top priority is the safety and well-being of the American people. And as Secretary Azar has said, it is in that conviction that he took swift and decisive action to minimize the risk of the spread of the novel coronavirus in the United States, and also stood up a dedicated interagency task force to invoke the full weight of the U.S. government in our response. Over the past few weeks, at the direction of Secretary of State Pompeo, I have served as the representative for the Department of State on this task force, while our colleagues from the Department of Health and Human Services and the CDC continue to do a tremendous job leading the overall response to the outbreak. The Department of State has responsibility for ensuring the safety and welfare of U.S. citizens abroad. The Department of State has all hands on deck, with bureaus and offices from across the department, such as medical services, consular affairs, East Asian and Pacific Affairs, Crisis Management and Strategy, and many others covering health, economic, and public affairs, leading an exceptional effort to evacuate U.S. citizens from Wuhan, China, while continuing our important work to support U.S. citizens elsewhere in China and around the world. Thanks to these efforts, we've evacuated more than 800 people from Wuhan. The first charter flight departed Wuhan on January 28th. 2 subsequent flights departed on February 5th. Yesterday, on February 6th, 2 additional evacuation flights departed Wuhan, carrying 800 passengers. The State Department, working closely with our partners in China, has loaded the holds of those arriving 747s with 18 tons of privately donated medical supplies and humanitarian assistance for the Chinese people. This includes urgently needed masks, gowns, gauze, respirators, and other vital materials.
First, I want to emphasize that while this is a serious health situation in China, the immediate risk of this virus to the American public remains low, and our goal is to keep it that way. As of today, there are more than 31,000 cases across mainland China, and the death toll has risen over 600. Outside China, there's now over 300 cases that have been detected in 27 locations, including the United States. Most of these individuals have a connection to Hubei province in China. And additionally, there are 14 locations with 69 cases of person-to-person transmission on individuals that did not travel to China. From the onset, we have a layered response, and our goal is centered around early case recognition, isolation, contact tracing to prevent further spread of this novel coronavirus in our nation using effective and proven public health measures. Our public health and medical community have been instrumental in identifying and characterizing the confirmed cases that we've had in the United States today and are critical to our efforts to contain the spread of this virus. To date, 12 confirmed cases has been identified in the United States, and we've continued to do persistent contact tracing of those 12 cases and identified 2 additional cases that did not travel to China but were close spousal contacts of confirmed cases that had returned from Wuhan.
We have 213 Canadians which have been repatriated in Canada, and we will send a second plane to make sure that we can bring everyone who wants to come back home.
2 planes with evacuees from China have now arrived at CFB Trenton. Everyone will be quarantined for 14 days. The second plane touched down in Trenton, Ontario this afternoon to a snowy welcome home, as you can see there. The federal government says 39 evacuees were on board that plane. An earlier flight carrying 176 passengers, there it is there, landed this morning. They all left Wuhan, the epicenter of the virus, yesterday. The CBC's Talia Ritchie is outside the base in Trenton now. She joins us. Hi, Talia. What can you tell us about the Canadians, what they experienced when they landed in Trenton?
Well, Vashi, as you said, more than 200 Canadians landed at this base today, managing to evacuate the epicenter of the coronavirus in China. Once they landed here, they were processed in a hangar. They spoke with border security as well as health officials, and those health officials were looking to see if any of these passengers had any symptoms. Now, we do know that on that first plane, those 176 passengers were cleared. We haven't heard about the state of the second plane and those passengers, but it's possible that they're still being processed at this time. Vashi?
And what about the quarantine itself? We know from the health minister, for example, over the past few days, she's saying that they will be quarantined there for 14 days. What kind of details do we know about what the conditions are like?
Well, we know that they'll be staying at a lodge here on the base for the next 2 weeks, and they'll be provided with necessities. There'll be meals brought to their rooms. They'll be provided with TV and internet as well. Initially, officials said that they were going to be confined to their rooms, but earlier we spoke with one of the evacuees and she painted a different scene. Have a listen.
So it's a hotel on the base here, and it's got everything we need. It has Wi-Fi and TV and a really solid-sized bathtub, and we're not confined to our rooms as we originally thought we might be. So we're allowed to interact with the other people on the floor here, and we've even got some space we can go to outside to get some fresh air and some exercise.
So we are waiting for some clarification on those details. Earlier today, the Minister of Health said that this was a very stressful journey for many of these passengers. It was a long journey. On that first flight, there were 34 minors on the flight, so many families there as well. And so they'll be providing the passengers with mental health services while they're being quarantined.
Tonight, the death toll from that new virus has jumped to more than 700. Nearly all were in China. Hundreds more Americans are out of the outbreak zone and under quarantine tonight. One group arrived in San Antonio, Texas today, where they will spend 2 weeks under medical observation. Another group is headed to Nebraska. Ramy and Asensio now on the drastic steps being taken to keep the virus from spreading here in the U.S.
Tonight, there are more than 800 Americans under quarantine right here in the United States. Just hours ago, the final evacuation flights landed here from Wuhan, China. In San Antonio, officials greeted them in protective suits. While in Bayonne, New Jersey, 4 passengers with flu-like symptoms were taken off a Royal Caribbean cruise ship. They're now being tested at a local hospital. But it's this cruise ship, the Diamond Princess, now docked in Yokohama, Japan, with startling numbers tonight. It now has the highest number of coronavirus cases outside China. 11 Americans from the ship have the illness, up from just 1 diagnosed earlier this week. They're among the 61 cases transferred to a mainland hospital for treatment.
People ask if I'm nervous or scared. We're not. Maybe ignorance is bliss, but we are fine, we're safe.
Jerry Jorgensen and her fellow passengers face 11 more days confined to their cabins.
I mean, this happened in China and it's spreading globally, which is just crazy to us.
And tonight in China, new research suggests the pangolin, an endangered mammal whose scales are highly valued in Chinese medicine, may have passed the virus to humans. And cruise lines are now clamping down even harder on passengers as those coronavirus infections rise. Royal Caribbean and Norwegian are now banning all passport holders from China, Hong Kong, and Macau until further notice. Nora?
All right, Ramy, thank you.
Now, a third person has tested positive in the UK for coronavirus. The patient did not catch the virus in China, where the vast majority of cases have been found, but elsewhere in Asia before travelling to the UK, and has been taken to a specialist NHS treatment centre. Meanwhile, China's ambassador to the UK, Liu Xiaoming, has accused the British government of overreacting to the virus outbreak. Our correspondent Rupert Wingfield-Hayes reports now from Hong Kong.
This is what happens when fear takes hold. Shops in Hong Kong today were being cleared of rice and toilet paper as rumours swirled of a complete shutdown of the border with mainland China. Out in Hong Kong harbour, a huge cruise ship, the virus possibly loose on board. Several passengers have tested positive and no one is being allowed off. 你好，你的情况怎么样? From his balcony, Hinsley Lee can look out at his hometown, but can't go there.
I am nervous, but the only thing we can do is stay in our cabins and be careful.
Hong Kong has now at least 5 cases of people with the coronavirus who haven't been to mainland China and haven't had any apparent contact with people from mainland China. Also, 3 of them live in the same place. That is this building behind me here. And that may be the first indication of what is called community transmission. That is the virus passing from one person to another here in Hong Kong. Experts here say they are now not optimistic that the virus can be contained and that a full pandemic may be on the way. Not so, according to the Chinese ambassador to London, who today went on the offensive, insisting China has the situation under control.
It is our hope that the governments of all countries, including the UK, should understand and support China's efforts, respect the professional advice of WHO, avoid overreaction, avoid creating panic.
But at the same time, from Wuhan, pictures the like of which we haven't seen in generations. Stadiums, gymnasiums and conference centres all being turned into fever centres.
So desperate is the shortage of beds for the sick.
Well, Hugh, the patient, a middle-aged man, was brought here this afternoon to the Specialist Infectious Diseases Treatment Centre. He'd been taken ill in Brighton and was isolated at home before testing positive. Now, it is understood that he travelled in recently to the UK from Singapore, and health authorities have briefed that he did not contract this virus in China. So on the back of that, they've extended their guidance to people coming into the UK. Up until today, anyone coming in from China who developed symptoms was urged to self-isolate and call NHS 111. They've now extended that guidance to anyone coming in from some other Asian countries, including Japan, Malaysia and Singapore. So where does this leave us tonight? Well, the Chief Medical Officer for England, Chris Whitty, working with the UK's other Chief Medical Officers, says this remains a serious problem for China, but there are still relatively few cases beyond that. If that remains the case, they say the NHS can cope with what's thrown at them. If the WHO change their guidance and it becomes a global pandemic, that could create serious pressure for the NHS.
所以我没有准确的说，我在这今天告诉战友，武汉疫情是内部政治斗争的结果，绝不是共产党的一个组织行为，就组织决定搞一个这么一个病毒出来放出去，不可能。这个病毒绝对是某个罪势力，要么是习干的，要么是王岐山、杨洁篪、孟建柱、这个孙立军他们干的。任何一方干的啊，都是想把对方毁掉。任何一方干的这个事情，都有可能是想利用这个事儿，想干某一个事儿而失控了。而且所有的不管哪一帮干的，都是跟香港有关。这个病毒绝对是想把这个事情是把香港事平了，想平香港事儿的人，大家去想，也可能是急，也可能以王岐山、孟建柱领导的杨洁篪的上海帮，这就是两派的斗争，其中之一想通过这事把香港放出病毒，一定是郭德银告诉我这是可控，我100%可控，我想杀谁杀谁。而且不会人传人，也不会什么。今天这个早上我听到这个战友给我发，我还没来得及看。这个安红还有这个瑞克谈的说放了屁都可能传染了，啊，气胶传毒就是唾沫星的传毒，小于 PM0.25了，0.025了，那就太可怕了。这就是说明郭德银和石正丽的武汉研究所，过去是绝对共产党做好的，这是军事的设施，是干什么的？是研究生化武器的，这是100%共产党的合法机构，啊，就是研究生化武器的。但是谁想用其中的生化武器，想干事的时候，一定是一拨人做的决定，这不是共产党做的决定，就是我要拿这个把香港给灭了，把香港给收拾了。而且一定是保证说，哎，我这个我能控制，这个能控制，也可能是骗，也可能自己吹牛了，错误判断，结果失控了。武汉疫情的结果就是政治斗争和骗子科学家郭德银和石正丽，和第三个我说的可能就是原来这些被抓的这些官员的家人们。早就想等着这一刻了，老子你不给了我这个机会，我就要给你放出去，报复社会。就这个结果会导致什么？我就不管你什么上海派，你王岐山、杨洁篪、孟建柱、孙立军了，我也不管你习近平了，老子让你全死。这种报应和报复之心，在中国只有在官场的，只有在有钱的人，你才能感受到。结果是。共产党想玩一个可控的潘多拉盒子，结果潘多拉盒子真的是打开了，是放不回去了。这是我的判断，这是我的预测，所以我给世界一个答案：病毒是共产党的生化武器， 武汉实验室放出来是专家对技术的失控和对习王中国共产党不满，这是一次报复。最后他们是共产党内部部分人想利用此来消灭香港，结果把自己消灭了，就这么简单，这是我的判断。加大传播真相的力度，我们要拯救在水深火热的湖北的武汉的同胞们，我们要再把国内的所有有关疫情的真实声音发到国际上来，做好准备，没有共产党的新中国的以后什么样？
那截止2月8号，全球被确认感染武汉冠状病毒共计34963例，其中34620例是发生在中国大陆地区。目前死亡人数已经上升到725人，其中699人是在湖北武汉的疫区的重灾区。河南增加到4例，同时呢，北京达到2例，黑龙江是5例。然后除此之外呢，是香港地区呢有1例，共计2394人被治愈康复。然后呢，这个中国疫区的这个感染人数还在以每天3000到4000确认的这个病例吧在向上增加最后是这个希望疫区的同胞平安保重。